Hi, everybody. This is Bruce Pritchard, and I'd like to make a formal announcement. We have come to the terms of the release of young boy Nicholas, and we wish him well on his future endeavors due to budget cuts.
Bruce. Budget cuts, really? Budget cuts. Come on, Bruce. Tell the truth.
All right. He's too short and old. All right. Vince likes tall, young, beefy guys. Anyway, this is Total Spot Fest for now.
One, two, three, four.
Welcome back to Total Spot Fest. I am JJ Brownlee, accompanied as I am every time by my main man, Jamie Faulkner.
What's up, Marks?
And we got a lot to go over tonight. So, just when you thought the weekend was safe, right? It's like, oh, we're going to relax this week. Nope. So WWE's at it again. We're going to get into it. We have some good news, especially for those of you who are local in Kansas City. Here's some very good news. Plus, we'll talk a little bit about Impact Wrestling, this day in wrestling history. A lot of stuff planned for you. So thank you for joining us. If you are watching, as I always say, please feel free. Give us a comment down below if you want to join the conversation. Click like, subscribe, all the things. It does help us out quite a bit if you would. And if you're listening to us, you want to jump in the conversation, that's at Total Spot Fest on Twitter. So let's get right to it. Jamie, are you doing okay? I know that we have a lot to unpack from this past weekend.
After crying in my shower for 2 or 3 nights consecutively over the news that happened, I'm okay now. I think I'm finally okay.
Okay, well, I couldn't make a jab at you being the only man in a house with 5 other females. That maybe that's a common occurrence, but I'm going to pass on that. Although I guess I kind of didn't. But before we get into the doom and gloom, let's start off on a hot positive note. How about that?
Hell yes.
All right. So over the weekend, our friends from Journey Pro released some news. And I think it was a drunken late night screw it release because they announced their next show. Jamie, why don't you go ahead and do the honors? Tell us about the next Journey Pro show coming up very soon.
So I do want to call one thing out. So before COVID, all of their shows, other than their Christmas show, all of them were musically themed. They were song titles.
Right.
And now they are 100% movie titles, and I am here for it. So their next,
at least thus far. Thus far. We don't know.
When we do another interview with one of the owners coming up shortly, definitely that's gonna be a topic of discussion.
So on that note, all I want to say is that Die Hard is a Christmas movie has to be their standing December show. It has to be.
It's like 2, 3, 4. Like it just has. It's like the WrestleMania.
Or just leave it just Die Hard, whatever. As long as it's Die Hard is a Christmas movie, has to stay there in December. It has to.
I agree. I totally agree.
DJ Walter, if you're listening, that's my words. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. So on August 28th, which we already kind of knew this was coming on that date, but they officially gave us the name, and the name of it is Weekend at Journeys.
So good,
so good, and they were so nice enough to announce 3 of the matches already. So we're going to save the best for last. Well, technically, they're all great, but the most high profile for last.
Yeah, why don't you talk about with the announcement of the location, too? So.
Yeah. So last time we were in the Sweat Locker of Death, the Prosters. It
was literally a brick oven at the West Spot. Literally a brick oven.
Yeah, I felt like I was at Shakespeare's Pizza. Like that's how like brick oveny it was. Like it was bad. There you go, Columbia
call.
reference just for you.
There you go. That's
See?
a ding. That's a gold star for Jamie.
See, I can change. I'm hip. I'm with it. Anyway, so instead of being at Blip Roasters this time, we are going outdoors, ladies and gentlemen. They are officially going to be outdoors at Lemonade Park down in the West Bottoms. So still in the West Bottoms, which is a very hip, trendy area, but this is a musical venue that they are going to convert over into a wrestling arena, basically. And it's going to be pretty badass. So
Yeah, it's owned by the Record Bar people, if I'm not mistaken, or
Correct.
ran by the Record Bar people. And
Yes.
It's right across from Kemper. So parking should be a lot better, too.
yes, should be awesome in theory.
Should be.
In
In
theory.
theory. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
So it is going to be on the 28th, but instead of being an evening show like they usually do, this one's going to be ran at 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
I know. That's first Saturday show. The first outdoor show. I don't think they've done an outdoor show. I'm pretty sure they haven't. And first afternoon show. So
It's
be interesting to see what happens.
definitely
Yeah.
different all the way around. But okay, so let's get to the card that's been announced.
Yes, please do it.
So my favorite heel, your favorite heel, the one who needs to be doing a lion tamer, Mr. Jeremy Wyatt, he is going to be squaring off against none other than Stallion Rogers, a.k.a.
Lone Star.
Lone Star Curtis Stallion. He can't use his name because, again, NXT and WWE can suck a left nut because of that. They were doing that shit to Chelsea Green. Luckily, they're going to step away from that. We'll talk about that later. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's the bullshit. He can't even have his own real name. Homeboy can't even use his own real name. That is just some bullshit. I'm sorry. But he's going up against Jeremy Wyatt. And the many times we've seen both of them in matches, they have never faced off against each other one-on-one. This is a first-time matchup. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, we've seen Lone Star several times
Yeah.
before he's moved up in the world, and I don't remember who we saw him last against. If it was Gary J or who, I
He
don't
was in a
remember who
tag
it
team
was.
matchup against, I think, J.J. Garrett and somebody else.
No, he was in a tag. He's in a tag match with Dak Draper. I think it's him and Dak versus. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Those of all you Jerry Pro marks, correct us. Tell us the tag match he was in before he got called. Before he went on to, the big show or whatever. But yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he's back, and then another person that's returning that was at the Brick Oven, Everett Connors, who I absolutely love. I thought he did absolutely great. His grandma's a bitch. I just want to make sure I call that out for everybody. He's going up against Shug Dunkerton, Pineapple Pete in AEW land. So this guy's been on AEW. He's a big name. He's a big draw. He's got stuff on Pro Wrestling Tees. These two have never faced each other either.
This would be a very intriguing match.
I cannot wait. I called it out on Twitter for us. I spoke on our behalf. I apologize.
You usually do. It's okay.
I do. But I think that this could steal the show. And I even talked about the main event, which should be an all-time classic in person. But this one has all the ingredients to 100% steal the show.
It sure does. And for those of you who are not familiar with Shug D, maybe you're not, AEW marks, because during lockdown, he was one of the extras that kind of was in there. And there was a feud that got started by Jericho against him, because, it's Pineapple Pete. I hate that guy,
Yeah.
And it was great for him. I think, don't quote me, but I believe his home promotion is New South. I might be wrong on that.
No, yeah, he's in New South. Yeah.
He's a New South guy? Okay, good.
That's the one with the
with
ginormous championship
with
belt.
the ridiculous championship belt. It's so ridiculous. But he is definitely a unique talent. So they're both unique. So that's why I agree. This is going to be a very intriguing match. I'm excited to see this.
I cannot wait for that matchup. But
It's going to be awesome.
the number one announcement, the one that is the draw. I'm going to call it that because that's what it is. That's why their site crashed, because we're going to talk about that in just a second. The best teams in the world, arguably the best unsigned tag teams out there. They should be signed. I think it's bullshit that they're not signed. I'm going to
They should
stick
be
by that.
definitely
Sign
100%.
the besties. Everybody's
Somebody.
afraid because they come in to Truly Madly Deeply and they're only hit because of their song. No, they can back that shit up in the ring. They're really damn good in the ring, and it's bullshit that they're out there. But they're going up against AEW's own Sydal brothers. So we have Mike, who's always here. But yes, Matt Sydal of AEW is going to be here in Kansas City, teaming up with his brother against the besties in the world. First time ever these two tag teams are going head to head.
This is going to be a show. It's outside, so we get the gloriousness of Matt Sydal doing all of his, shooting star press, the whole 9 yards. The besties, we've seen them inside a arena. The first time we saw the besties was a Chicago street fight back at our first NWL show.
Yeah.
We came to the party late on NWL because I don't know, it just happened, whatever, But when we did, we were on full bore, and that show we went to, and it was like, oh my God, this team, I love them.
Yes.
And nothing to do with their music. Like, the whole bullshit about their entrance song is bullshit. These guys are unbelievable. And the four of them going up against each other is going to be special. It really will be.
This one should be the absolute truth showstopper, in my opinion. But again, I think Shug D and Everconners could be the upset, like the dark horse in this. But this one has got everything you want. It's got high flying. It's got groundwork. It's got all the goodies. I cannot wait for this. And from what I understand, this matchup was a request by Matt Sydal.
Ooh.
He wanted to face the besties.
Oh, that's
with
right.
his
There's
brother.
a tweet that I saw. Yeah.
He wanted this.
He wanted to face it somewhere, somehow, and somebody was like, hey, how about Journey Pro, yo?
Yeah, so
And it happened.
shout out to Journey Pro to making this happen here in Kansas City, and we were lucky enough to get tickets. So tickets went on sale on the 9th, so yesterday, and their site crashed hard because the straight amount of people who wanted to get tickets to this, because their last show 78 weeks later sold out in 85 minutes. This show it went on sale at 5. I got on,
which is different. They usually sell it at like 10 a.m.
Yeah, 10 or noon, somewhere around there. They did it at 5. I literally got on there at 4:59, and I couldn't even get to the site. The site was completely crashed. And then JJ and I were working back and forth consistently. Their server went down. Their providers just stopped everything. Like, what the hell's going on, basically? So they had to get another server up. So they got multiple servers and all this stuff. They finally got everything going, and the tickets went on sale at 8 o'clock. So 3 hours later. And we were able, luckily, to get tickets.
Thankfully.
But here's the rub, because we were just trying to get tickets.
You say luckily, but
yeah, we were so excited. We ended up getting 4 tickets. So
JJ went click happy. It happens.
Yeah. So we got 2 for ourselves, 1 for each other, and then we have 2 extras. And I would tend to do some kind of giveaway, but these are a little bit more expensive, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to sell them. So if you guys want them, just hit us up in our DMs, whatever, and we'd be more than happy to figure it out, getting them over to you, so you guys can enjoy what will definitely be the amazingness is Weekend at Journeys.
I mean, there's only been 3 matches announced. There's going to be more matches coming.
And they said another one's a first timer that's going to be
another
oh my God.
Biggish name. Yeah. So, yeah. And we're not marking them up. It's face value. First come, first serve. And once again, that's at Total Spotfest on Twitter. That's how if you want these tickets, let us know. More than likelihood, if it's been more than a day or so after this podcast got released, they're probably going to be gone. But if you want them, just DM us on Twitter.
Yeah, because they're already sold out. They're sold out already.
Yeah, and they had 100, and they had more tickets. They had 50% more tickets because of the space they had. They have much more space.
Yeah,
so
and it was gone.
That's a great sign for a local promotion that hasn't done a show in a year and a half to have their first show went so well, being in the sweatbox that it was. Okay, it happens. global warming. Whatever.
Still is great. Yeah.
Their follow-up is even more rabid demand. So, Walter said it himself, hey, this is a good problem to have. You want to have your website crash because people are overloading it, not because it's just antiquated and stupid software. So,
yeah.
Plus and minus, sure.
Yeah. Cannot wait. Hopefully we can more announcements as they come. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be interviewing one of the owners, the promoters of Journey Pro here in the very near future. And that is going to be one of the topics of discussion is, what's coming, what's next. Really want to talk about like the whole Seidel thing. I really want to dig into that. And why they switch from music to movies. And I'm a big movie buff guy. So yes,
this is so
please.
up your alley.
Yes.
The music is more my shtick. Yours somewhat too.
Yeah.
But I would say of the two of us, I'm probably more the music snob, and you're definitely more the movie snob.
Oh, 100%.
Even though we're both kind of a little bit in both, but it's definitely, if we had to pick a side, JJ is definitely the music, and Jamie is most certainly the movie guy. So
Yeah. I used to host a show about movies, so
I know, and I used to manage bands back in college.
See,
it is what it is. All right, so we'll get a lot more. Not only that, we got other irons in the fire. We don't want to give them out yet because we're still working some stuff out. But we're planning on giving you guys some more first looks, some more behind the scenes stuff with some people that are associated with that. We also have another podcast we're talking about doing kind of cross promotional thing. I don't want to dig too deep into that because we got to iron out some details on that too. Logistics be what they may, right? So more news coming. Please stay tuned. Jamie will make sure we let you guys know on the socials, on them. Find us on them internets, and we'll let you know about it, and we will give you updates before it happens. So lots of good stuff. We're gonna have tons of Journey Pro content moving forward here. Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
And especially because we're just reporting less and less on WWE because of shit that happened like this past weekend. So. Let's just pull the Band-Aid off.
Okay, go for it.
So this past weekend, Friday night, during SmackDown, I want to repeat that. During SmackDown, WWE issued a statement that they come to the terms of the release of 12 NXT talent. And do you have the list? I don't have the list in front of me here. If you could pull that up, Jamie.
Yeah, I can get that for you real quick.
Some of these are going to be people you have never heard of. The big names are Mercedes Martinez, who was working in AEW and others, and had a chance to stay in AEW, but she moved to NXT, took a position there to WWE with the thought, she's like 40, right? With the thought that she can't do this forever, and going to NXT gives her a chance to, get her post-career, become a coach at PC, basically, right? Gives her that long-term stability, afterwards, right? Well, not anymore. She got released. And we'll save the big name here, which you probably already know. But, Jamie, go ahead and read off the list of everyone else.
All right. So we have Asher Hale.
Which he just got signed like 9 months ago.
Yeah.
And everybody said he's the future. And I've seen some of his stuff. He's great, but whatever.
Yeah. Ari Sterling.
Another one. Same exact thing. Sorry. I'm bitching now. I'm going to stop.
Jake Atlas, who's been on the show a ton. Kona Reeves. Leon Ruff.
Which he's a former United States champion.
Yeah.
Had a great series of matches with Swerve. There you go.
Yep. It's whatever that is. Mercedes Martinez, Tyler Rust of the Diamond Mine. So two of the members of the Diamond Mine are gone.
Yeah, this is a 2-month-old faction, by the way. Just want to point that out, by the way.
Then they have some performance center talent of Zachariah Smith, Giant Zangier, and Stephen Smith, who is a referee. Then the two big names. Do you want to do the two big?
Go for it. Do it.
Bobby Fish.
I mean,
One of the Undisputed Era is gone
just
forever.
just fuck Undisputed Era ever reforming. So
Yeah.
yeah. Red Dragon no more. I mean, just.
And then
This next one.
this is the one. This is the one that's got me crying.
This makes no damn sense.
Thick Boy, the colossal one, Bronson Reed.
The Colossus. Oh, that's a Dark Order thing. He could join the Dark Order.
He'd be better than New Japan. That's my opinion.
Okay, we jumped the gun on that, but I was going to go there too. But okay, he. Let me spit first, and then you can spit.
Okay.
So, a lot of we'll mention the reasons here after we bitch for a second, because the reasons don't make any goddamn sense. But Bobby Fish, you can tell it's kind of rudderless since they blew up the UE, and with rumor about Adam Cole, we don't know where he's going. Is he going here? Is he moving up? Did he re-sign? Is he going to Raw? He's going to AEW? Okay, with all that going on here, yes, Bobby Fish kind of felt like the odd man out. They repackaged Roderick Strong. You know, they're doing this face push with Kyle O'Reilly for whatever reason. And yeah, Bobby Fish is odd man out. So, I mean, that is what it is. But Bronson Reed he won North American champ at the WrestleMania weekend takeover. Okay. And it was a big deal. He closed the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Was
that the show after takeover? Whatever it was. Doesn't matter. It was around that time. And it was a big, giant deal. Everybody said this guy, I mean, he's got it. He's a big guy that can fly. This is up Vince's alley, right? So we thought. He was working some dark matches and was seen behind the scenes. Everyone was sure, especially when he dropped the title, that he's moving up, right? That's obviously the plan. Is words that definitely he's going to be premiering on the main roster. And then out of freaking nowhere, Bronson Reed is released. I don't get it.
And he was pissed right after.
He's mad. He was not. I mean, his initial tweet, like minutes afterwards, tagged AEW, Impact Wrestling, MLW, and New Japan Wrestling. Yeah. He tagged all four without a fuck given. It was great. And by the way, I did see too. So Jonah Rock apparently was his previous name. So more than likely, we'll be looking for Jonah Rock out there somewhere.
And Jonah's his first real name. I don't know if Rock's.
Oh, that is his real name. Oh, okay, cool. So anyway, I mean, we'll talk about where we want to see them, but talk about your thoughts on this a little bit.
Where do I begin?
It's been a while since we had a series of exhales. So
this just pisses me off. So let's just get behind the curtain even more on this. Mm-hmm. So the understanding is Triple H and Shawn Michaels had no input whatsoever on any of these releases. No. And they were mega pissed. I guess they were livid. So the people who were the ones who picked the releases.
This is great. This is fantastic.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon, of course.
This is straight from the boss's desk.
John Laurinaitis.
Of course, he's a spineless wimp that does whatever Vince says.
And Bruce Pritchard.
And here's the part that gets me, okay? Along with that, we're just going to dive into this. Along with that is the report that Vince is looking to rebrand and repackage NXT.
Yes. He wants it to be the true developmental for main event talent in the future.
Only that.
That's it.
And it's obvious that he's completely given up on NXT when he has their champion go up and job to Jeff Hardy, which, by the way, he fought him again last night and won, I read. So congratulations, Karen. You finally beat Jeff Hardy.
To no reaction whatsoever, though. Yeah,
nobody cheered for you, but whatever. Oh, there's plenty of fake crowd noise pumped in. There's fake crowd boos pumped in. They couldn't even boo him. They could care that little about it.
Yeah.
But him aside, though, but that's what he's doing. And it's like, why? Your last 2 weeks they got crap ratings. Well, they were on Sci-Fi because of the Olympics, okay? They were averaging steady 700s for a while. And I'm sorry, that's not bad. That's pretty much half of what your main roster shows have been getting, not in the past couple weeks, but for the most part, this past several months. That's not bad. That's not far off. And it's just, I don't get it. And so you say those words. He wants it to be straight developmental for top main event talent, right?
And he, quote, said, no more midgets.
No more midgets and no more old guys, meaning nobody over 30.
Oh, can't be under 6'2" and under over 30.
Which let's unpackage that. Okay. Most of these guys he cut were 26, 27, 28.
Yeah.
Bobby Fish is older. Okay. Mercedes Martinez is older. Okay, whatever. Bronson Reed's over 30, but he's got the bigness to him. I mean, let's be honest. All Vince wants and what he thinks the wrestling fan wants is nothing but a bunch of Parker Boudreaux coming through. Baby Lesnar. That's it.
That's all he wants.
That's all he wants.
And when that guy's ready, he's going to get the push of a lifetime.
He's not even going to be in NXT. He'll do a match and then go up against Bobby Lashley on Raw and probably beat him.
And beat his ass.
Because that's what Vince thinks. Because that's what Vince wants to see. That's what he thinks everybody else wants to see. He can't understand that the USA Network, did you hear about this? The USA Network was apparently, quote unquote, perplexed with the recent decisions made by NXT management, meaning these cuts.
Yeah.
They don't understand them. And they're not wrong because they don't make sense. And before, there was a lot of internet shade thrown at like Ciampa and Gargano, who technically shouldn't be there if we're going off of Vince's mandate, right? They're both under 6'2" and they're both over 30.
Yeah.
I don't, whatever. Just go past.
Yeah, they say that their feud killed NXT. And I disagree wholeheartly.
I don't get it. I mean, it is one of the best feuds. I mean, is it because there's nothing to live up to it? Because that was one of the best feuds I've seen in recent memory.
If we're
entertainment.
If we're gonna be honest on what killed NXT, COVID.
They killed COVID. COVID was the death nail, and then
they did not know how to react.
Yeah, of all the promotions, you would have thought NXT would have been the one most adaptable to COVID because they've run their show out of a single static location since its inception, right?
Yeah.
It's not a large venue either. They should have been the most apt to deal with COVID. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if because their talent was used as seat fillers for Raw and SmackDown, if that played into. I don't know. Don't know. I'm not going to try and read too much into it, but
yeah,
it absolutely did. And even with that, there was then some bad choices made. Killing like blowing up the Undisputed Era was a bad choice.
100%. Like terrible idea.
And some of the call-ups, while you can't necessarily, I mean, you can't really avoid them because Vince does whatever the fuck Vince wants.
Yeah.
They were some of them were brutal. And look what happened to those talents once they got called up. Keith Lee. I mean,
Aleister Black. I mean, Malachi Black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still in catering.
Still catering. So, all right, let's play the name game. Okay, a lot of these guys we don't really know. So we're not going to say for everybody.
So a
but
couple
the
of these.
The three big names is what I want to get to. Mercedes, or if you want to do some other ones, but I'm going to do, you do yours, and I really want to hear Mercedes, Bobby Fish, and especially Bronson. Yeah. So
okay.
Tell me what you think.
Okay. So those are the big three. The only other one I would see is Asher Hale going somewhere big. I could see him. I could see him in Ring of Honor. I could see him in MLW for sure. I think he screams MLW.
I think one of those two order is probably more than likely for him and for what's his face, the other guy that's kind of similar to
Ari Sterling.
Ari Sterling. I
Yeah.
think both of those. Ari Sterling may get to Impact because he does have a ton of buzz on him.
He does.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But I think that more than likely both of those, Ring of Honor, MLW, maybe NWA, like that.
Yeah. I see Mercedes Martinez either going to Ring of Honor or Impact.
Okay.
She screams Impact. She does. Like her style, it just I think she's an Impact kind of person.
I would agree with that. I think that there's definitely the room for her in Impact. Unfortunately, there's a wealth of women talent available because of WWE's mismanagement.
Yeah.
I think Ring of Honor. I think Maria Kanellis Bennett's going to make the play for her.
That makes sense. That make really good sense.
That's my guess, and I think that's maybe not a bad landing spot for her.
No, I think it's great.
I know she's done stuff in Ring of Honor in the past. I don't know if there's any ill will there or not, but from all accounts that I've heard, I haven't really heard of any company that's got any beef with Mercedes. I don't know if there is or not, but I haven't heard of it. So
yeah. So the last time we saw Mercedes Martinez on NXT is when she got
concussed.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
she got concussed by somebody who was homegrown in WWE, and her reward is a pink slip. No offense to Zaya, by the way. I'm not trying to throw shade on
me some Xia Li.
Please don't think I am.
Yeah. Whew. I love me some Xia Li. She's
I caught myself there. I'm like, wait a minute, JJ.
All right, Bobby Fish.
If he does anything,
he's the toughest one.
I mean, I think he's gonna go.
I know, right?
Go ahead.
Okay, so for Bobby, if he goes anywhere, it's not gonna be anything big. I would say NWA. I feel like that's a good spot for him. Doubtful GCW. Yeah, I think it's gonna be NWA.
I mean, I don't see him going back to New Japan because he's by himself.
Exactly. He doesn't have.
If Kyle was there, yeah, they'd be in New Japan tomorrow. I generally think with Bobby, especially with the injuries he's had in the past 4 years, and I hate to say this, and his age, I think without knowing the man, I think that it makes sense he might go into kind of like a coach-esque role, whether that's a wrestling school or something, wrestling adjacent. He'd be good like coming in as an announcer and like doing some stuff like that, behind the scenes work sort of thing.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, and maybe just because what we've seen of him for the past however many years, in NXT, it feels like he's character-wise rudderless because I knew him before as a tag team, with Fish and Cole or Fish and Kyle, and then part of UE. And then by himself, I can't think of anything, and that's not meant to be disparaging towards Bobby. I just can't think of anything. So.
He's codependent. That's probably the best way to put it. Like
it's the way it feels for sure.
Like we've never seen him stand on his own two legs. Maybe he can. Maybe he could be excellent because he's a great wrestler. Don't get me wrong. I think he's phenomenal. We've never seen him by himself, and I don't know if at his age, if that's the time, And
I know for a fact, everybody says how great he is behind the scenes. So he's got a mind for the business and a mind for the art of wrestling. I think that like a coach or like opening a school or something like that makes sense to me maybe. And then if he does a supporting role somewhere, like an announcement or a guest. Maybe something like that, but anyway, we're not committal on Bobby, but that's where we're gonna leave it.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you go first.
Good old Bronson.
Yeah, Bronson.
Yeah. I have two locations that I think.
Okay.
Neither of them are AEW.
Same.
First of all, AEW can't sign every big name free agent,
I agree.
or they become WWE. They're
Yep.
already teetering on that, but they have irons in the fire for potential more things to fill. So I'm okay with stuff right now, right? And somebody's going to get let go at AEW eventually. They're going to trim house somehow, some way. But I don't feel like he would fit in AEW as well as he would, fit in Impact Wrestling. I think he'd be very good in Impact. I think he'd line up well with their roster. I think it would be a good fit. I think the matchups are good. You know, him versus Moose, him versus W. Morrissey, him versus Sami Callihan, him versus, Sabin, Chris Bay. I think all of these would be very good lineups and matches. I'd like to see him and Falaba go at it, or tag up even, because that'd be fun as shit.
Yes.
Falaba's now my spirit animal after Homecoming. Falaba is my spirit animal. Hashtag Falaba is my spirit animal. More likely, and probably a better destination for him, though, is New Japan. I think that they would eat him up. He is Australian, so he fits in that Pacific mold a little bit. He could slide into the Bullet Club pretty easily, in my opinion. The Guerrillas of Destiny, could rope him in as like kind of one of their own, their own Polynesian brother. Or he'd be a great feud against the Guerrillas because they're both Polynesian descent. They're all Polynesian descent. Anyway, I think that logistically and with the open door, Impact, AEW, New Japan, just because you're in one doesn't mean you're not going to show up in the other, in the others, right? Especially right now. So I think New Japan makes a lot of sense. I think Impact's a great spot, but if I had to pick one, I'd say New Japan for Bronson Reed would probably be the landing spot.
Do not disagree, but I will disagree with some of your thought process on it.
Okay, go for it.
So I definitely agree with actually both your landing spots. Those two make a lot of sense. If he stays in the States, Impact is probably the best home for him. If they leave the States and he goes elsewhere, New Japan, hell yes. But I don't see him sliding into the Bullet Club. No. I see him more sliding into the United Empire. That's Will Ospreay's faction. That has one Jeff Cobb. Him and Jeff Cobb as a team.
Oh, okay.
Boner alert, because oh my God, that is just... You got the super heavyweight and the freak of nature that is Jeff Cobb. Like, oh my God, like both of them together
that would be a thing to be seen. It would.
Oh my goodness. But no, they love big guys like that. They eat up. I mean,
they always have.
Well, because of the sumo heritage, like they're used to big guys who push people around. And Bronson Reed, boy, does he do that. So
I mean, shit. His shtick his final shtick before he left WWE was Godzilla.
Yeah,
that's what his entrance was, and I know that's cultural appropriation now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no. You're absolutely right, and you know what? I want to know what everybody thinks of that in the comments below. Hit us up on Twitter. Where do you think Bronson Reed, Bobby Fish, and Mercedes Martinez are going to land? I really want to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm looking at you, Heather the librarian, because you always give us some gold.
Yeah.
So
and give us a why too when you do that, because where and why, just justify it, because maybe some of y'all out there have a very good reason why he'd go to AEW.
Yes.
Want to hear it? Let's hear it. Come on.
I mean, I think this new term that's on Twitter, which is killing me, but we are definitely AEW sexuals. Like it's a new term. Yeah.
What, is this a new term?
AEW sexual.
I'm not on Twitter enough, apparently. I didn't know this was a thing.
There's a whole bunch of new ones. There's the E-drones, and then there's the AEW sexuals. Yeah, like there's a few others.
Why does it always go back to sex? I don't. Okay,
I don't know, but
what?
I thought calling us Marks was fine enough, but I guess we have to take it up a notch. Like Emeril Lagasse, bam.
Little salt bay on your terminology. Well, okay, we're gonna get away from sexuality as quick as we can,
please,
we're gonna do that by one man named Tyrus. You remember Tyrus?
Did he get in trouble not that long ago?
Oh, he did, and he's been on. Once again, this is a no politics zone. No politics zone.
He's got a show on Fox News, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got a show on Fox News. They're like, but anyway. So, yeah, but he got in trouble for some other stuff and this and that. Whatever. He wrestled this past weekend. So NWA had I don't know if it was a pay-per-view or not, but they had a show that they did. And Tyrus wrestled. He wrestled against the TV title champion, which I don't remember who it was. And it kind of doesn't matter because Tyrus is your new NWA TV champion. And that's as odd sounding as you think it is. And if you were to look up the victory pose of him, I mean, you've been losing weight. Yes. I've been losing weight and gaining muscle because I've been going into more of a cycling and upper body workout mode. We're still big guys, right?
Yeah.
I myself would not want to be in a green singlet on national TV. I don't know about you, but there might be some roles in there that you don't want to see. That's what it kind of looked like, and his beard had gone gray. It was not the same Tyrus we saw back being EC3's enforcer in TNA way back in the day. But he's your new NWA TV champion, so yeah, there's that.
Yeah, can we just move on from that real quick because I don't
want
to think about that anymore.
Let's shift abruptly. Okay, now you made mention of Eddie Kingston last week, living his best life when he came out, right?
F&A, yes.
Saw a kid. Do you know who that kid was?
Who?
It's his best friend. It's Nolan Huber.
Was it really?
Yes. I saw somebody posted something online. And it was actually a vignette. It started with that clip, and they showed a bunch of behind-the-scenes footage of the two of them. He's basically, to him, what Preston Vance is to -1. So.
Oh, I didn't.
That's
know
why
that.
he fist bumped and gave the kid, because that's. And for those you don't know, that's the Exalted One, John Huber. Brody Lee. That is his second son. His oldest son is -1. Nolan is his younger son. So, yep, that's who that was.
Interesting. Huh.
And his youngest son's like 2. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so anyway, I just want to you made mention of that. Then I saw that on Twitter and I had to write that down because I'm like, you brought that up. I want to give you back. So we come full circle. That's awesome. Last thing here before we get to Impact is New Japan news, which I actually have this time. There you go.
I know. This is a new one.
I know. We're getting out there. We're going to do numbers after we do this too, but don't worry. So this Saturday, the 14th, is the New Japan show in L.A. It is their first show in America since COVID happened, right? Resurgence, aptly named show. Not to be confused with Emergence, which is Impact's show next Friday. It's a thing. It's just everybody knows that I screw up names in general. I couldn't get Revolution right for 2 months, and now they got these 2 shows within a week that are anyway. Resurgence is on Saturday. It's on Fight TV. You bet your ass I'm buying it because it's going to be good.
Yes.
So. Here's the card. We're going to break it down. 6-man tag match. You got Rocky Romero, Fred Rosser, and Wheeler Yuta versus Rin Narita, Clark Connors, and TJP. TJP hasn't been on Impact lately because he's been basically exclusively in New Japan. I don't know if it's permanent or not, but he's over there for the time being now. So
good for him.
It is what it is.
That's a good spot for him.
Open door, right? Yeah. Open door. He has been doing both. So, so that's the first match. And you have Alex Coughlin versus Carl Fredericks, just a regular singles match. You have Tomohiro Ishii versus Moose in a singles match.
You're close. Ishii.
Ishii?
It's 2 eyes, right?
This is also why I don't usually do the New Japan
Ishii.
stuff.
You know how I know that? You know why I know how to pronounce that correctly?
How do you know that?
Kill Bill Volume 1. You're welcome.
Ah, touche. There you go.
It's the only reason.
Then you have Jay White versus David Finlay for the Never Openweight Championship. This should be a straight banger. Definitely going to be some good stuff. Then you have another banger is going to be Lance Archer versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the IWGP US Championship.
Must have.
Both of those.
Both
of those. Please give me more. This next one, give me more of too. So the Good Brothers put out their challenge. Moxley said he wanted to fight them. And he wanted to fight them at Resurgence. They accepted. So Moxley is versus Moxley and a partner of his choosing versus the Good Brothers. The site that I'm looking at here has that answer, which I already know it's going to be anyway, so I'm going to say it. Good Brothers versus Moxley and Sami Callihan.
Yes. That's going to be so much fun to watch.
And if you don't know, Sami and Moxley came up together in the deathmatch scene. They had a tag team together. What were they called? They were called the oh shit.
I don't remember.
It's related to one of their moves. I can't remember which one and which move, but it was okay. Jay was looking that up while I go over the last bit here, but that's going to be a lot of fun. And the Good Brothers, we give them some crap a little bit, but they can still bring it. Carl Anderson's a fantastic wrestler. They are a very good tag team, rightly serving. So, did you find it? Were they Switchblades? No,
I'm looking. I'm looking still. It doesn't have it on here.
I don't remember where it is. Well,
because they had Switchblade Saints, and that was him with Matt Riot.
Yeah. So
United States Death Machine.
Death Machines. That's what they were.
Death Machines?
Yeah, that's what they were. Yeah, because that's Sami Callihan's thing is Death Machine. So the Death Machines. I'm going with that so we can move on.
Okay.
Whatever it is. But that's anyway, that should be fun. If those of you following Impact, we'll talk about it in a second here. Callahan's been feuding with the Elite for the past couple months. So the final match is a 9-man. Oh, a second. I'm trying to figure this out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10-man tag team match. So you have 2 teams of 5. Tom Lawler, J.R. Kratos, Jarrell Nelson, Royce Isaacs, and Danny Limelight on one side versus, Yuya Uemura, Fred Yeehee, Chris Dickinson, Brody King, and Leo Rush.
What?
Yep.
He's back? He said he's retiring forever.
He's not retiring forever. He's back.
Oh,
at least he's back for this show. So 10-man tag. He's on Brody King's team. So yeah, Leo Rush making his resurgence.
That's awesome.
At New Japan Resurgence.
I've been so I will be I'll be the first person to eat crow on this. I could not stand him when he was with Bobby Lashley. He drove me absolutely batshit crazy. But ever since he was on his own away from WWE, I fucking love that dude. Like, loved everything about him. Yeah, he was getting banged up and hurt, but man, is he amazing. He is just a talent above
I even
talents.
liked his end run at WWE when he went on the cruiserweight.
Yeah.
I mean, he has got it, and he's confirmed for Resurgence. So there you go. I told you I wanted to save that for you. That's gonna be a little surprise for you, Jamie.
That's a great surprise.
That is. So all right, so that's gonna be Resurgence. We'll talk about that next week after because it happens this Saturday. So next week we got to talk about AEW Rampage. And we'll have, New Japan Resurgence. So some good stuff going on.
Yeah, that's the
next
14th.
Tuesday. This Saturday. So check it out. Fight TV. Saturday. I think you can get it on Fight TV.
Yes, it's on Fight.
If you can't get on Fight TV, is NJPW 1972. I think you can order it through there too. But
correct.
I'm pretty sure it's on Fight TV because it's America.
Yes.
All right. Let's do numbers real fast, and we're going to talk about Impact.
Okay. Numbers-wise, lots of little things. So we'll start with the flagship 18-hour show of Monday Night Raw. It actually was up a hair It went to 1.821 million, up from 1.814. So 70,000 people.
It's up just like Lily the doll stands herself up.
Don't get me started. NXT, no change. 520 and 520. I think that was also
We
part
called
of the
that.
knee-jerk, yeah.
Yeah, we straight called that's going to be the exact same, and it was.
So, yeah, they're going up against a lot of Olympic stuff, right?
Yeah.
I know another show's
they're
going up against a lot of Olympic stuff. That was AEW. AEW
right.
pulled 1.103 1.102 million people, which is barely down from 1.108.
But what was it down? It was down 6,000 people.
6,000 people during the Olympics.
I wouldn't call that statistically insignificant, but I call it just above statistically insignificant.
Yes,
it's really not that
they're
much.
at 3 consecutive weeks of over 1 million.
I mean, 4.
4 now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 4 weeks.
4. Impact was slightly down as well. They went to 103,000, down from 113, so they went down 10K. But for them, that's a much bigger number.
They're still above 100. I can't believe that's the low bar we put out there because it deserves more viewers. I'll talk about why in a second.
Yeah, and then SmackDown was over 2 mil again.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I have them at 2.047, up from 1.909. Those are your numbers, ladies and gentlemen.
Sure.
Congratulations. AEW, the number one cable show on Wednesdays again. And they're killing it in their demographic. They are absolutely annihilating everything in their key demo.
Right. Yeah, and here's the part that I would make from that. And Impact fluctuating right now. NXT, I think the numbers are a misnomer because, like we said, Sci-Fi Network going against the Olympics.
Yeah.
WWE's versus AEW's numbers. So the two main shows on WWE are both kind of slightly up, right? Mm-hmm. You know, SmackDown's finally over that 2 million. Even though Fox wants them at 3, they're over that 2 million hump, right? I don't know. I feel like both of those numbers are somewhat inflated due to just certain things. John Cena is not staying for long term.
No.
And
he spoke adamantly how stupid it is that they keep betting on him and Goldberg.
Yeah. And I think the live audience thing is giving them a good jolt. I just don't, you see them going up like even the numbers are going up are very small numbers, and it's not making the gains you would expect if it's such a big deal. So I want to see what numbers going to be like post SummerSlam, like a few weeks after SummerSlam, especially when we get closer to football season. That's when we can really tell what's going on here.
Totally agree.
Because if Monday Night Raw drops to like 1.2 during football season, well, we have our freaking answer, okay? Whereas AEW has steadily climbed, is now leveling out above 1 million, like we said. Once they get that next big push, see ya, Punk, they'll be at that 1.5. And if they can stay there consistently, that's how you become number one. Anyway, the trends are telling me different things there. So what's nice, though, about Impact, before I talk about the show, is that their demo actually went up this past week. They went down 10,000, but their demo actually raised, the key demo.
That's awesome.
So that's good. That's good news.
They just need to be on a better damn network. I'd watch it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I still haven't looked into the whole YouTube thing. I promise you I will do that this week. I will check that out. Because I think that to me is a good way to get viewers, although it's not going to be reflected in any ratings.
No, not at all.
So your advertisers don't like that. They need to find a better network, whatever that may be. Somebody out there has got to be somebody out there who's running a TV network. You're listening to our little ass podcast from Kansas City. Take our advice. Okay. Let's talk about Impact real fast. So Impact Wrestling, this was, so as I made mention, Emergence is coming up a week from Friday. Yes, that is Friday. That's what I said. That's the same night as the Rampage in Chicago at the United Center. On SummerSlam weekend. So you have those two shows on Friday. You have SummerSlam on Saturday. You have TakeOver on Sunday. Is it weird that they're going up against was probably going to be a ridiculous show in AEW? Yes.
It's only an hour, though. It's only an hour.
It's not like a full pay-per-view. It's kind of like Homecoming. It's one of those little jobbers.
Yeah,
one of these little pay-per-view things.
It's a little guy.
But it does have Kenny Omega defending his title on there. So we'll find out this coming week on Impact what his opponent's going to be. There's going to be a number one contender battle royal. So the show, though, starts off with probably my favorite part of the night, which is Chris Bay versus Juice Robinson. I said versus David Finlay last week. I was wrong. It was the other member of FinJuice. So Chris Bay versus Juice Robinson with, David Finlay and Jay White at ringside, which was better because the two of them just barked at each other for a third of the match, and it played wonderfully.
That's awesome.
I mean, Jay White is such a if nobody out there can appreciate Jay White's mastery in this thing called wrestling, I need to get you to my optometrist because he is so good. The way when he comes up on the rope to distract and the interference he's causing against David Finlay, and it's so great. Chris Bay is a megastar in the making. He was a former X Division champion. He had an injury, was out for a good spell there. Came back not too long ago, right? And I just love it. Like his stuff against Trey Miguel is great, and this whole flirting with the Bullet Club thing is fantastic. So
yeah.
At the end of the day, Chris Bay ends up getting the win. So it does it not necessarily in full heel Bullet Club fashion, but definitely not in the straightest of ways. So it comes down to it that Jay and David kind of clash. They go up the ramp there, and the distraction causes Juice to get distracted, and that leads Bay to do a sneak attack for his finisher. His finisher is similar to Leo Rush's. He jumps off the middle rope and goes back and does a stunner, as opposed to Leon doing that low stunner. So his is more kind of angled out into the rope. So, but it looks good. But he does that, gets the win, then runs up the ramp with Jay White there, and they're celebrating, and FinJuice is pissed. And Jay White stops, reaches behind his back from his shirt, pulls out a Bullet Club shirt, and presents it to Chris Bay. For those of you in the know, that is the swearing in for a member. When you are presented a Bullet Club t-shirt in the ring or on television or whatever in front of the thing from the leader like that, that is the official offer. Chris Bay is in the Bullet Club.
Hell yes. That makes me so excited.
And that is the picture I saw teased because this was pre-taped, right? I got teased accidentally on Twitter. I'm like, I thought it was a new shirt, but it's not a new shirt, but it's a cool shirt. It's the whatever. But so he put it in front of his pants, and so he's part of the Bullet Club. So Bullet Club is officially on the roster of an American promotion.
It's on American soil. Let's go. It's going to
never
catch on like wildfire.
5 years ago.
You watch
I
it.
never would.
It's going to get huge in impact.
I think it definitely will, and it's well past time. I love every second of this. So you have that. Then you got a lot of build and a lot of promos going on. So Omega and Good Brothers promo interrupted by Violent by Design. Violent by Design it says they're enacting their rematch clause for the Impact title at Emergence. Okay, so they're enacting their rematch clause, which doesn't go well for what we talked about earlier for the Dark Order's title chances this week, I don't think. But we'll see. Then you get Matt Renwalt and Deonna Purrazzo. They come out to their coronation, and they're just getting heat left and right, which is
awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so good. And Matt Renwalt, you could tell he loves this. He loves it. So, interrupted by Mickie James music. Mickie James comes out. Deanna's all frustrated. What are you doing this again for? Blah, blah, blah. She said, no. I knew you were going to be here as a businesswoman. I want to make sure I catch you because you agreed in principle to be on Empower, which is the NWA women's event that she's putting on in St. Louis, but we have nothing on paper and we don't have an opponent. So, and well, Deanna goes, well, you haven't given me an opponent. I'm not signing a contract blind. I need to know against who I'm wrestling before I sign any of your contracts. And Mickey goes, I'm glad you asked that. I have your opponent with me here tonight while we bring her out. Here comes music. Here comes Melina.
Ooh.
Melina Perez versus Deonna Purrazzo both signed the contract at Empower for the Knockouts Championship. I did not see that coming.
At all. At all.
I know there was, I know that somebody said like a year ago that there was talks about Melina potentially returning to WWE. Do you remember that?
Yeah, doing another run in WWE, which I'm so glad she did.
Right. Yeah, which didn't materialize, but this is interesting. This is very interesting. So, yeah, he had a Kimberly promo. Kimberly's still doing the whole like porcelain doll thing, and she's over Sue Young, and she's definitely she's all possessed now. She's like, so Sue Young in her grandeur is going to be making her return with her kind of minions following her, being Kimberly. What was it? She's so happy because she now gets Sue Young's permission to steal souls.
That's awesome.
You love this because I know you love some Sue Young. You like the horror stuff and the ring and all that.
She trips that horror trigger hard. Like she just does it for me on that.
Susan Sue Young, whoever she is a great character worker. Whatever you think of her wrestling skills, whatever. She's a great character worker. Then you had a 4-way number one contender for the X Division title. It was Jake something, the newly recently released Aria Daivari from WWE. So Daivari's back in Impact. Rohit Raju and Trey Miguel. And this was a very entertaining match, as you can expect, won by Jake something, which I would not have guessed.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought Trey Miguel. It's got to be Trey Miguel, right? He's the next one. Nope. Jake something. And that match, I'm interested to see Jake something versus Josh Alexander. Because Josh at times feels like more of a powerhouse against other X Division competitors.
Yeah, not now.
So I want to see this. And there was Jake did a one great spot. So the guys, each one of them kind of like did a flippy spinny shit move on the outside and ended up kind of sitting on the apron, all three of them together. They're kind of punching at each other, right? And then here comes Jake from up the ramp, and he does a cross body layout across all three.
Oh, that's awesome.
On the apron, which is, of course, the hardest part of the ring.
The hardest part of the ring.
It was entertaining as hell. I enjoyed that thoroughly. So Jake something. He's the next number one contender.
So Jake something, he is definitely built like he's swole. I mean, he's more puffy, I'd say. And then Josh Alexander, I think he looks more like Rainbow from Rainbow Part 2. He's more shredded than Julian South, man.
Okay, there you go. I was like, you're pulling it out somewhere. I know you're pulling that out. Then you had another. Okay, this is interesting. So we talked a lot about our hatred for 50-50 booking. Everybody knows that, right? Mm-hmm. So this is one instance where I don't mind. If you do it right, 50-50 booking has its place.
Yes.
Okay. Fire and Flavor versus Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. They've already set up this whole dissension thing between Fire and Flavor, right? With the whole homecoming bit, and each of them like Kiera costing the championship match and the rematch and all this stuff. So match was a good match. It's interesting because it's like they had matching, like Jordan and Rachel had matching uniforms. I don't know if I like that. Not gonna lie, it felt odd, but it was weird. It was whatever. But they ended up getting the win, and then afterwards, Fire and Flavor in the ring, and they're both having whatever little stare off kind of thing. You could see the disdain in Tasha's eyes and the shame in Kiera's eyes, and then a third party enters the ring. Somebody named Savannah Evans. I wasn't familiar with her, so I looked her up, and I recommend you do too. She's taller, 5'11"-ish. Another black female wrestler, so kind of fits the shtick right here for Tasha. And Yeah, they beat out Kira right then and there, and she's a powerhouse. She's got good, like I said, she's got good size to her, good strong move set. I don't know if this means we asked because Kira had teased, because they shot these ahead of time, just in case you missed that before. Kira had teased that she had done her last Impact taping and was moving on to other things. It was rumored that she was backstage at Dynamite last week.
Yep.
So
I saw that.
And we both said, well, what does this mean for Tasha? Is she going to go solo? Well, I guess we know what this means for Tasha. Either she has her little enforcer with her, or she found a replacement for Kiera, which I like Tasha Steelz. I do. I think that I didn't give her character work enough credit. I think it really came to the forefront, their last run as champion. And then some of the off stuff that she's done. Some of these promos behind the scenes of this Fallout bit, plus the work with Falaba. This should be interesting. So that's how they're going out. So Savannah Evans is her name. So check her out. Violent by Design stops by Scott D'Amore's office to inform him that they've already cleared it. They've set up, the rematch clause. They're going to be challenging, the Good Brothers for the titles. And Scott's like, well, I'm glad you came by. There's actually another team in here that was asking about the tag team titles as well. Out from behind his office, from behind him comes Rich Swann and Willie Mack. So that's going to be a triple threat tag championship at Emergence. They've relied on that a little too much in the tag division. They have some decent tag teams, and there's some out there that they should get too. Some that are free agents that they should definitely pick up. But they have some decent tag teams in there, and I feel like they're reverting back to triple threat mode too often.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Violent by Design. They lost their title in a triple threat.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have another triple threat with the same teams. It's like, okay, whatever. This is 50-50 booking I don't care for.
Fair.
Steve Macklin beat Jah C. That's JAH-C.
Yeah, Jah
Make
C.
sure I spell his name correctly, because that's about all that happened with him. He got the shit kicked out of him royally. They still got the feud going on with him, and so the feud he's going to be in is with him and Petey Williams. Petey Williams comes out to defend Jossie because Steve's getting ready to literally murder him with a chair, and so that's a good time to stop him. He had some great work in this match against the referee, some good verbal work, but yeah, it was a total squash. Then your main event. Good Brothers and Kenny Omega versus Frankie Kazarian, Eddie Edwards, and Sami Callihan. Excuse me. And if you had to wonder how Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan were going to go together, pretty well actually. I felt like there wasn't enough. There was a little bit at the beginning, and a little bit on some of the early tags, but I felt there could have been more conflict, especially from Eddie Edwards' side. Sammy's pretty consistent with his character, and he's very even keel, right? Eddie should have been much more conflicted, in my opinion, to tag Sammy to participate. I felt like that wasn't really the focus there, but I felt this match wasn't necessarily about the two of them. So it's still about moving forward this Sami Callihan storyline, and bringing Kaz back into it. Kaz, Sami, and Eddie end up getting the win, as a matter of fact. And then afterwards, Elite gets run off and chased off by Kaz and Sami Callihan. So Eddie Edwards is left in the ring, where of course he gets jumped by W. Morrissey.
Of course.
So. That's not over, unfortunately. I think it was a good place to end it on that hardcore match, but it's not. So, I mean, at the end I thought could have been better, but the rest of the show I thought was great. The first half of the show was fantastic. That 4-way X Division match and Chris Bay joining the Bullet Club. So good. So, that was Impact. So we'll talk more about Impact because, like I said, we got the show coming up on Thursday. Battle Royal, number one contender Battle Royal for Kenny Omega's world title. And then on Saturday is not that. That's New Japan. Then next week is, I see there's so many shows that I can't keep them straight. Next Friday is going to be that. So we'll talk about this shit next week. I'm going to stop now. Okay, good.
Yeah. That's a
Okay.
good idea.
It's just, man, just the stress of buying the tickets. And I don't know why we were so stressed going through all this stuff with Journey Pro, but stress of buying tickets, plus all the emotions from this weekend and just the fury and anger, it just caught up to me, I guess. Whatever. All right, so that was Impact. We'll talk more about that next week. Before we wrap up here, there are some things we do want to address. Because as you know, Jamie likes to look back in the annals of history and let us know what happened this day in wrestling history. So, Jamie, what did happen this day in wrestling history?
Well, funny you should ask. On 1999's Monday Night Raw.
So, this, for those of you listening, this is actually yesterday in wrestling history. Sorry.
Yes, yesterday. The 8th,
We take this
the
on
9th.
Monday, so forgive
the
us.
9th.
Okay.
August 9th, 1999, the year of our Lord. The second greatest wrestler of all time. My number 2, slightly. He's 1A, legit. Made his debut. Break the walls down, Chris Jericho on Monday Night Raw.
Raw is
Jericho! And we were never, ever the same again.
It was. Here's the thing about that, and I hate to even. I know you're not gonna like me for going to this way here. The build up to that was perhaps the best build up I've seen of any surprise debut.
Yep.
It was right around the time of the whole Y2K thing, right? You know, computer's going to stop. For those of you too young to know about that, there's this thought that when the clock struck midnight of the year 2000, that, you know, anarchy and, you know, the Armageddon was going to happen because all the computers, you know, weren't programmed to have anything but a 19 at the beginning of the year. So banking systems are going to collapse and governments are going to fall and all. It was bullshit. It was all bullshit. So there was all that, and then it was very well themed along those lines. And I legitimately had no idea who this countdown clock was for. Every week they had this countdown. No godly idea. It was driving me and my friends mad. This is. You know, the internet was not what the internet is now, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and there wasn't like a lot, even with the internet being in chat rooms, there wasn't like internet leaks about this stuff from behind the scenes either. So we had no idea, no earthly idea. And then it was Jericho. And I hate to say it like this, but at first I was like, oh, I thought for something bigger. Only because at the time, Jericho was misused on WCW.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And he was definitely no higher than the U.S. title picture. So, for those of us that were WCW marks back in the day, we viewed that was a big hype for a mid-tier guy. When that's not the case, that's not what ended up happening. But at first, that's what we were. And Jericho went in on and said it, too, that he kind of got that rub a little bit at the start of his, you know, WWE career. You ever read about that?
No.
Yeah, so he had been, I can't remember where he was on. I think he was on what did he mention that? It was on Steve Austin's thingamabob.
Broken Skull.
What is it?
Broken Skull.
Yeah, thank you. So we went on Broken Skull session. He talked about that because he said that big, huge pop the first night going against The Rock, and then it was kind of lost in the shuffle for a few weeks there, and he had to more or less bring it back around. And he definitely did, becoming the first, undisputed champion down the road. But it was groundbreaking in several different ways, despite my take on it at the time. Because my take on it at the time was I was kind of like, oh, it's just Jericho.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of the best surprise entrants when I look back on it, by far.
So that's the difference between you and me, because when he showed up, I was already full-blown Jerichoholic, like full-blown. And when it showed up him and it said Jericho up there, I lost my everlasting mind. I'm like, oh my God, it's Chris Jericho. Mm-hmm. And then that's when the birth of Y2J happened right there. Like, oh my God, like I absolutely 100% geeked out. Like, it was ridiculous. Oh my goodness, it was one of the greatest moments on Raw to that point that I can remember.
I don't necessarily disagree with you there. Like I said, only because I didn't have as big a reaction to it, because my focus was elsewhere in wrestling. I was still in the. I think that was I think NWO was split by then. It was the Wolfpack versus Hogan, right? It was basically at the end of WWC's last shot before they became, because once Jericho left, and then Eddie Guerrero wasn't far behind him, and then it was all downhill for WCW. So in a way, putting this out there, in a way, Jericho's the one that ended the war, if you really want to put it that way.
He did. He put the nail in the coffin for sure.
Basically, here's a guy that grew up wanting to wrestle for WCW. He was a WCW guy growing up. Like, he came in to WCW. He didn't start, like, that was his goal, was Nitro. His goal was to be a WCW wrestler, right? Mm-hmm. And he was. And just like your priorities change sometimes in life, his did too. And I will say this, he became a much better act because of going over to WWE, because he got the big shot that he couldn't get in WCW. He couldn't get past the Hogan and Bischoff grip. Mm-hmm. But I still agree with you that it indeed is one of the best surprise debuts of all time.
That show drew 6.4 million viewers.
Just to give you context for those of you who hear us talking about, 6.5 million. And that was going against another wrestling show that probably drew about 5 something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was no internet streaming shit back then, people. You had to watch one or the other, or tape one or the other, but it didn't count towards the ratings.
Yeah, that has to be one of the greatest surprises of all time.
The build was nobody had any idea who it was.
I was hoping it was Jericho, because he was not on WCW for a while. So I remember that. I'm like, oh man, I really hope it's Jericho. And then I was like, oh man, I really hope it was Chris Benoit, because Chris Benoit wasn't on TV at the time either, because he was hurt. Right. So like, oh, it could be one of those, but I didn't know Chris Benoit was just hurt. Then like, I was like, oh shit, like who's it gonna be? Because like I think like the Monday before is when Chris Benoit finally came back. Like, oh, so it's not him. And the next thing you know, like Break the Walls Jericho. Down hits, and he was definitely hitting
entrance,
the weight room a lot, because his arms got huge.
Oh yeah, he was jacked when he first got over there. Mm-hmm. So let's do this. I want to play the impossible game.
Okay, let's go.
I hope I didn't diminish you. I'm not trying to diminish this entrance. I know it's of one of your two sacreds, right?
Yes.
Okay. But that being said, so this, like we said, is one of the best surprise debuts there was. So we're gonna do the impossible game here.
Okay.
And I want to. We're gonna do the island version.
Ooh.
So, give me. Okay, we'll do a variant of that. So for how do I want to do this here? I'm trying to think of. Okay, so give me 2 debuts that you will vividly remember every detail until your dying day.
Okay.
Meaning, no matter how old and senile you get, you'll have that recollection like it's, photographic memory.
Okay.
And then one surprise debut that gets Thanos out of existence.
Okay.
I know this is a little bit of an odd one here. I was trying to think of something different this time. I don't know how well this is going to work. So,
Okay.
let's give it a. You don't have to give them all at once. So, how about you give me one? And
Okay. So one I'll definitely keep is this one. So Jericho appearing on Monday Night Raw. For sure.
That's a great one. That's a good one here. Part of me wants to do some of the more recent ones, like AWS. I was thinking like Brody Lee, whatever. I almost feel that's unfair because they're so fresh, though.
Yeah.
So because of that, and all the other ones, they still exist in this universe. Okay, all right, in the ethos. So I'm not going to say that it's not up there, but I'm just going to pull it out. And the thing about a surprise entrant is it does require a little bit of, the pop. That's kind of what gets it over. It really is, So on that level, I'm going to go with, I know I fall back to this before, but I'm going to go with AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble debut.
Ooh, that's a good
I know
one.
that AJ Styles, because I'm an old TNA fanboy, like we talked about many a time over, and I followed him to New Japan and Bullet Club and Ring of Honor, and it's just like, and they didn't know what was going to happen. He just kind of like, it's kind of whatever. He kind of disappeared, right? Mm-hmm. And I, for the life of me, didn't ever think I'd see AJ Styles in WWE. And to see him way he came out and the way he was received gave me hope for the future of wrestling. Now, that says nothing of where we are now in WWE, but that moment was unbelievable. He should have lasted longer in that Royal Rumble, but that's one that I will always hold because that is basically the validation of the old TNA for me.
Okay.
So that's one.
All right. My other one that I will keep forever is the Outsiders invading WCW.
Oh, I thought you were going to do it with John Cena returning at the Royal Rumble. Okay, never mind.
No.
So you're talking about when they came through the crowd and jumped the fence that first
eating
night.
popcorn.
And people legitimately thought that there was going to be a brawl.
Yes. Like, who the hell are these WWF guys? I still remember that vividly. Like, that's what started the Monday Night Wars. That moment. And then Jericho subsequently ended it.
Sorry, his book ended there by surprise entrance. Go figure. You never know, right? See, my other one I would do is see, and I didn't qualify this. There's definitely levels you could put on this because there is debuts like your first time in a promotion. Mm-hmm. There's also your first time coming back. Returns. I think returns are a big part of it too.
Yeah, like CM Punk coming back after he left with the title. That's a big one.
That's a big one indeed. I would say, and it's interesting because this is very much a Attitude Era and beyond gimmick. Yeah. I'm trying to think of some old ones, and I'm like, no, they really didn't have any of that back then because they had to do the old school way of selling tickets.
I mean, Ric Flair showing up at the Royal Rumble, that was a big one when he jumped ship from WCW.
But it was already known that he would be there.
Yeah, it was not a surprise
ahead of time. So that was not a surprise. Yeah. Even when he showed up in WWF, it wasn't really a surprise, which was the odd thing about it.
Right.
I'm trying to think here. I would say Undisputed Era.
Ooh, that's a good one.
All of them debuting in one night. Well, Roderick aside, but Cole Fish and O'Reilly, all debuting in one night, jumping Drew McIntyre after he won the title, jumping Authors of Pain after they defended the tag titles, and in one night, one of the best wrestlers who, is rumored to have re-signed with WWE, Adam Cole, baby. Apparently, he had a talk last Friday with Vince McMahon, and they offered him a lot of money.
$1 million.
And probably concessions.
Yeah.
And, they're already starting to write. He's already instructed writers to come up with ideas for Raw and SmackDown for him. So it sounds like they're giving him whatever the hell he wants. Mm-hmm. We'll see if this actually sticks, though. I'm not 100% convinced it's done, but it sounds like it. But him showing up there, because he was so big in Japan and in Ring of Honor and part of the Bullet Club. I mean, he was part of the elite, He was in that fold. And for him to show up and to bring Red Dragon with him, who is, Fish and O'Reilly, unbelievably awesome. And if you're an indie fan, you probably liked it a lot. You probably were like me, and you liked it a lot more than maybe the general person who's like, okay, I don't know who these guys are necessarily. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. So
That's good. Yeah.
I'll keep that.
I like that.
I'll keep that. All right. Give me one that never happened then. One that gets wiped out of existence.
This one makes my heart happy if it never happened, because I want the wars to continue. Shane McMahon showing up on WCW.
Oh, that's a good one. That's so good. Because that was terrible. That was so bad.
It ripped out my heart. It ripped out my heart.
It was so bad, and it was just kayfabe in every level at that time. But it was just, God, it was so bad. I'm going to give you one that I think might be controversial.
Okay.
But I'm going to wipe it out because I don't think it fucking mattered. I hate to say it like that.
Okay.
But in a way, it was important. Lex Luger showing up at the first Nitro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where they had the Mall of America.
The Mall of America, yeah.
Because he wasn't over in a way. I don't think that...
Yeah, he's a narcissist, Lex Luger.
Yeah, he was a narcissist, but then they tried to repackage him as post... Because that was during the time before Hogan signed with WCW. It was thought that he was just done with wrestling. They didn't know what he was going to do, but he didn't re-sign with WWE, WWF. They had a fallout because Vince, whatever it was. But he was off doing Hollywood things, and it was thought that was it. He was done wrestling. Yeah. No more wrestling for Hulk, right? Nobody thought he was going to come back. And so WWF put all their eggs in the Lex Luger package. They took the narcissist, rebranded him as like a Captain America thing, right? It didn't get over. It was not getting over.
No.
WWF's product was terrible at the time. You had Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, both relatively youngish and rudderless with where they were going. Neither was a young man.
Shawn was starting to go towards his intercontinental title run right around then.
Right. And the Undertaker was starting to kind of find his own rhythm,
Yeah.
Instead
of facing the Barbarian and shit like that, and the Viking. And
right.
All these other named guys.
The Berserker.
Yeah.
Huth. That's all he did. That's all the Berserker did.
Yeah.
But other than that, you didn't really have a ton of stuff in WWE that was good. Bret Hart was still there, but he was kind of buried. Mm-hmm. So you had... That was the idea, is that he was going to be the guy. And he was the first to surprise jump ship. So it's significant, is why I shame to do that. I'm wiping it out of existence, though, because it mattered nothing to WCW in the long run. And if you really think about it, if he would just stayed in WWF, he would have kept going with his character and probably buried the company faster. And they probably would have... They might have lost. I don't want to go that far, but it really didn't matter in the long scheme of things.
Yeah,
so
no, not at all.
That's why I'm wiping it out of existence. It was just kind of like, okay, sure, whatever. Even when it happened, I'm going, yeah, that's Lex Luger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't care.
Yep, still X.
And I'm 16 at the time. I'm like, I could give a shit, right? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we got. So I could have done. I think I could have done a better job with this. But anyway, let us know what you guys think. Let us know what was your favorite surprise entrant. Also, is there one that really sticks with you? There, are you with Jamie that And to be fair, this is probably the best there ever was Jericho. I mean, the build for it was amazing. The payoff after it was unbelievable because that's part of it too. You can show up. You can make a big splash, and then it means nothing.
Yeah.
Or you can show up and you can reinvent the wheel 5 times over like Jericho did.
Yeah, and he straight went right at the Rock instantly.
Yep.
The biggest name.
So let us know what you guys think. So that's what we got for this week. We'll be back on Thursday talking about AEW. Lord knows what's going to happen with NXT moving forward.
Oh,
I don't even. It's becoming a footnote for us, especially if they move in this bullshit direction. But we'll talk about AEW. Happy times. If you want tickets to Journey Pro, and you haven't messaged us on Twitter yet, what are you doing? Give us a DM on Twitter. I don't know if they're still available by the time you're hearing this, but they may be. Mm-hmm. So 2 tickets, list price $25 a pop. Let us know.
We got 2 tickets to Paradise. Pack your bags. We leave tonight.
See, there you go. That's a solid song reference. There we go.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it. We will see you on Thursday. Jamie, take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 3 words for you. Raw is Jericho.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.